Hey guys, it's Ken Maxfield, otherwise known as the Hide Guy, and this is your market recap for the week ending June the 26th. Last week started out in the big Packer trade with the offer list of the Packers pretty much unchanged with the previous couple of weeks. Packers continuing to lay claims to being well sold, so not a lot of change in the offer list. The most noticeable change was the fact that there wasn't as many regular weight hides offered and a lot more lighter weight hides, and surprisingly even some offers of some jumbo or slash heavier weight hides, which was very intriguing. As far as asking prices, Packers continue to put their foot on the gas, trying to push for higher prices, asking prices up anywhere from $1 to as much as $3 versus the last traded levels. As far as interest last week, we believe that there was a decent amount of interest. There was people still looking to buy. However, buyers were struggling a little bit with the higher asking prices and testing the will of the Packers. Bids, of course, that were lower than the last traded levels were dismissed by the Packers and not even countered. Bids at steady levels were being countered at full asking price. That said, it seemed like it was very difficult for the Packers to get any more than their last traded levels. If they did, it was 50 cents higher, maybe $1 higher. But it seemed that the business concluded at higher levels was very limited. There wasn't as many buyers willing to do that. The volumes were also limited. There was, some rumblings of sales at steady levels, which of course the Packers don't want a guy like me or you to know about that. But I think at the end of the day of the hides sold, I think more of them sold at steady levels than they did at the higher levels. But that said, it means the market's no worse than steady, if not incrementally higher. Did they sell a week's worth of production? That is to be debated. I'm going to say, based on the conversations I had, that they did not sell a week's worth of production, especially when you have a harvest that came in at and we'll get to that at close to the 660,000 head level. On cowhides, similar situation. Producers continue to lay claims to being well sold. Offer list really unchanged with the past few weeks. Most asking prices up $1. As far as interest last week, kind of like the big Packer market, there were people looking and willing to submit their ideas. Anything below the last traded levels were being, kicked to the curb and not taken seriously. That said, to sell hides at higher level was really a struggle, with the exception of maybe some heavy native dairy cows that were able to trade slightly better levels. Meanwhile, the sales on native cows, branded cows, they were concluded, but for the most part, people saying they were done at steady levels. So as far as overall business concluded, a lot of questions as to whether they sold a week's worth of production. But of course, that said, none of the prices were any lower than steady with the week prior. To the harvest, it came in at 661. That compares to 663 the week prior, 665 a year ago. Just a tickle over 16 million head harvested now. That goes against 15.2. We're over 800,000 higher than a year ago. That's 5.4%. As far as my thoughts on harvest going forward, a little side note to keep in mind is that following our 4th of July holiday here in the States, harvest levels typically start to decline. So keep an eye on that. The wild card in that whole equation is that with margins being where they are, some people say they're $700 a head. Is it $650? Is it $750? So we'll call about $7. That's unprecedented margins. It's crazy how much money these Packers are making, and I think that's going to encourage them to try to continue to push as much as they want. And the other wild card is export demand continues to be well above levels of a year ago. Usually that's 15-16%. I'm hearing reports that's as much as 23-25% of the total beef demand, and that is also helping these Packers to keep margins high, because most of the middle demand from the export side is for middle meats, and that's your highest return on your animal when you start to break it down. Going around the world real quick here. Oh, I got a little ahead of myself. How about we talk about the export report out of the United States here? Wet salted sales, 383,000. That's up substantially versus the week prior at 240,000. Shipments, 340. We'll call it 344 versus 355, so damn near a wash. Wet blue sales are fantastic at 208,000. That goes against 63,000 the week prior. And wet blue shipments, 129,000 versus 192. So that's down a little bit. But combined sales, 591,000 versus 304 the week prior. So substantial improvement. And shipments, 473 versus 548. So not a strong week of shipments at all. Most people regarded the report as, neutral to slightly bullish basis the sales. But again, you want to take 1 week at a time. That export report, I wish you good luck, and my beloved Chicago Cubs on winning the World Series this year. So going around the world, our friends in Europe are reporting a similar situations to the States, trying to get more money, running into a lot of problems, trying to obtain higher levels, although they won't take anything less. It looks like the shipping issues inside Europe has been rectified, and now shipments are able to go by truck across Europe without having the snags on paperwork. So things are returning to normal there, which is a good thing. Keep in mind as we approach the end of this month, summer vacations are going to start to take place in Europe. The good news that I'm hearing in Europe, though, is that there's been some interest shown from tanners in Asia the last week to 10 days where that had gone non-existent. That was leading to some concerns that how they would navigate the holidays coming up here. But if they get some demand coming from tanners in Asia, that should bode well for them to be able to hold this market together. Down in Brazil, prices remain steady as well. Efforts to push prices down are not being met very well at the packers. Harvest levels still below levels traditionally for this time of year due to COVID problems. This is helping to keep prices firm as well. And also you're seeing a very strong re-ice down there, which is also factored into those prices. So in Australia, harvest levels, although starting to be a little bit better than they had been, are still below levels of a year ago. The lower numbers, coupled with people being well sold on the sell side, is helping to keep that market very firm. Although trying to get more money, talking to people down there, is kind of like it is in the States and in Europe. It's not an easy deal. And, prices I would call they're probably steady to if incrementally higher, if anything. So as far as what I think is going to happen going forward, that, my friends, you're going to have to check into the website, sign up, come out, www.themaxfieldreport.com, request sample reports. I will be happy to send you a complimentary copy of the 2 reports I offer. You can, once you become a member, you can call me, pick my brain, see what I think is going to happen. I also put it in my report. So check it out. What do you got to lose? So that's it for this week. Ken Maxfield, the Hide Guy. Until next time, thanks.